Good afternoon, it's Dave at ATI Watch Reviews. Please smash the like button, please smash the subscribe button for more awesome watch content. Little wristwatch check. I've got my Bulova two-tone Marine Star, stunning two-tone quartz, 43mm, one of my favourite beaters. And that's quite fitting actually, because this video is about the Tissot Seastar. Now this is their kind of like entry-level quartz diver. It's a brand new model for 2022. I know we're in 2023, but it came out a few months ago. If you checked out the unboxing that I did a few weeks ago. And this is actually a 36mm diver. The overview is basically quartz, 36mm, obviously blue dial, blue bezel, sapphire crystal, unirotational mineral bezel, so it's got a mineral coating on it, which is fine. Mineral crystal is more mineral crystal doesn't shatter as easily as sapphire crystal, so that's probably why they've put it on the bezel and not sapphire, or it could be due to cost. 36mm by about 10mm thick, fully solid stainless steel bracelet with pins, and a deployant clasp with safety catch, 3 micro adjusts. Now, for some reason, they've released the quartz model, which is what this is. They've released it of the new ones, like of this Seastar range, the brand new one. They've released them only in 36mm. Now, they do a watch that looks very similar to this, but is part of a different line that they do. And it's automatic, and it costs more, like I think 850 quid. So if you want the male version of this, which is I think like above 40mm, like 42mm, they do a very similar looking one to this, but it is automatic and it costs a lot more, because this is around about 350 quid. But they do one, because I was looking at where's the male versions, but they don't do a male version in this quartz in the latest range, at least in this particular line, which I think is crazy. They should do, as I'm going to show you in a bit, they should do a 42mm version of this that's in quartz, that's at the entry level. But let's talk about the sizing. So for sizing, this, in my view, unequivocally now in the modern world, this is a female watch. And I know I've said this many times about watch sizes, but this particular watch, with it being so thin, with it only being about 9.8mm thick, and with it being so small, because I measured about 35.5 on the case, I couldn't measure 36mm unless I measured this, which was about 39. Okay, the crown. Even there was only about 35 and a bit. The bezel is about 35.9, something like that. So still, even that's not 36mm. And lug to lug is 42, and end link to end link, even though the end links are obviously, as you can see, that they've got female end links. I mean, if you measure that dimension, I think it's about 43.7. So yeah, it's only slightly bigger. So the watch feels, because of its size being even smaller really than 36mm, a very small lug to lug, and being very thin, and having a weight of about 114 grams, the watch is super small, and I'll show it on my wrist in a bit. For male, I would say only men with like closer to a 6-inch wrist, 6.5 to 6 inch, really closer to 6 inch, should wear this watch, because it's going to make you feel, it's just too small. Now they're promoting it, Tissot are promoting it as, which are obviously a historic, Swiss timepiece manufacturer that have a brilliant history. But they're promoting this as unisex. I disagree. I think this is a female watch, and this is actually my girlfriend's watch. So, you know, this is not... for most men, you're not going to want to get this one. You're going to want to get the bigger Tissot Seastars. But some of them are going to be automatic and a lot more expensive. But I would never buy this for me because of that. If they did a bigger version, absolutely. But I'm just putting that one out there now, that it's classed as unisex, but in my view, the sizing is female. Okay. The dial is stunning. I saw it in the shop. The blue one that this is, obviously, it's a really nice kind of deep blue. There's no pattern on the dial. Let it just focus there. There's no pattern on the dial. You just get the really beautiful depth of the blue with the Tissot writing and the Seastar. 300 meter, obviously 30 bites, a 300 meter water resist watch. And with the date window at 6 o'clock, which I think is really good on this watch. I like it there. Makes it a bit different than putting it at 3 o'clock. That's totally fine for me, having it at that position. So the dial is obviously, you know, it's your standard kind of dive dial. There's nothing too spectacular going on. It's more the colour of the blue that I think is really nice, and I think which is what most people will enjoy. The bezel is interesting. The action, the rotating action, is not super easy to rotate. It has quite a bit of tolerance. Or maybe it's just that it's not super easy to grip, even though they do have some kind of interesting teeth there. But the bezel is not... I mean, it's not got that much resistance, really, but the mechanism is okay. It's nothing amazing. But there's minimal back play. They've gone with a mineral crystal on the bezel, which I think is totally fine. It's way better than aluminium because it'll be a lot more difficult to scratch than aluminium, even though it won't be the same. Obviously sapphire would be more difficult to scratch, but compared to aluminium or steel, this is, you know, way better in my opinion, having a mineral crystal, and it's more shatterproof than sapphire. So the bezel is okay. The writing on it is silver, which is quite difficult to see on this model because of because it kind of blends in a bit with the blue. So that's one little downside I just point out there. The writing, and it's very kind of reflective as well, the grey silver that they've put on the bezel markings. So that's a little criticism. I mean, I love the fact it's 300 meter and not 200 meter. Not that I'm going to be diving with it, but, you know, it is a true dive watch. No question about it. You know, it's got the 300 meter water resist. It's 5-star for diving, really, in that respect. And I'll just show you the lume. It's super Luminova. Good. A nice blue there. Definitely above average. Not the best I've seen, but it's liberally applied, and it's pretty effective there. So all in all, the dial, bezel and crystal, obviously crystal is sapphire, and he's proud of the bezel. One thing that is definitely true and helps legibility is the fact that they've put anti-reflective coating on the underside and I believe the top of the crystal. That definitely reduces reflections, and I'm really glad they've done that. Having said that, over time it possibly will peel off. Obviously I've not had the watch long enough to know about that, but you know, that is one downside of putting it on the underside as well. It can obviously peel off basically over time, but I'm still glad they've done it. I prefer watches. Some of the dome crystals that I've seen, you just, they're so reflective that it ruins the experience. Whereas this one is super legible. So the dial, the lume, the bezel, and the crystal are all very good, or good as far as I'm concerned. Little criticism with the bezel. The mechanism is not amazing, and it's a bit difficult to see the markings on it because of the particular type of like silvery grey that they've put on it against the blue. In the shop, I saw this in a kind of two-tone, but the bracelet was all silver. But I immediately thought it was in black and gold with a silver bracelet. I immediately thought they need to make this watch in two-tone, and this watch would actually look stunning with in a gold as well. If they added a third colour to this and did it like, other two-tone watches, like the one on my wrist actually, did it like that, I think it would look stunning. The blue is actually quite similar, but the blue on the below over here is a little bit deeper. But it is quite similar actually, and quite similar build quality as well. But anyway, I forgot to mention as well, it is a quartz movement, but it is an ETA quartz. I'm not going to say that they're necessarily more accurate than Japanese quartz by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying that, but just thought I'd point it out that it does have an ETA quartz movement in it. Right, the crown is signed, which is what we like, and it is screw down. And the case back is polished, interestingly, or it has a mixture of polishing. Yeah, it has a kind of snake, sea star, or a kind of sea creature, I should say. Not snake. And it has, obviously, Tissot stainless steel water resistance with the model reference there. If you can see that, T12021104100. So perfectly fine case back. Now the bracelet is nice. It's a 3-link with polished inners, brushed outers, which I prefer, with a signed milled clasp, good mechanism, everything's fine, nice swing arms. Oh, only 3 micro adjusts. Now I'll put it on my wrist to show you. Now that's with every single link that they've given me, and it only just fits my wrist. Now I think that because of what we're used to now, what I'm used to wearing, I mean, maybe that doesn't look too small there, but for me that's way too small. But it is very, very comfortable because it's so light. It's only 115 grams, 114 grams. There's no weight to it. And it's so thin, and it's not bulky at all, and it has a tiny lug to lug. I would actually need to buy more links. I would have to buy another link off them to put in to make it super comfortable for me. Because it's on the lowest setting. So, but like I said, I'm not going to wear this. This is my girlfriend. So the bracelet is perfectly fine. The tolerances are very good. It also has quick removal links at the back, as you can, quick pins. You just slot them in and it removes it very quickly. That's a nice touch. Instead of using spring bars, that makes it easy to remove the bracelet, sorry. The actual links are just pins, which again is totally fine. The tolerances on the bracelet are good. It's super comfortable. It's your classic 3-link. I think on a plain watch like this, where it's just plain blue, I like the fact they've put polishing on the middle. I think that is a positive. It adds a bit of extra pizzazz. for what you paid, for what I paid, sorry, in a deal at Christmas, it's still good value for all the spec that you're getting. I think it is good value. What I would want is, I would want the male version, not just this unisex version. I'd want this watch in 42 to 43 mil. And it would actually be, at that point, probably very, very similar to this Bulova, because it does actually remind me a little bit of it. And another watch it reminded me of a little bit was the Maverick. But you can just see how big the difference is in size. This Bulova's 43 mil and this is 36 mil. This is why I would actually say this watch is more like a 35 mil watch. But anyway, because of the size of the bezel being 35, the size of the case being smaller than 36, and the bezel's smaller than 36. The bezel's only about 35 point something. So that's why I think most men would be disappointed if they got this size of watch. That's the only criticism they have really strongly of it though, and the bezel. All the other factors, and the fact they don't give a two-tone that does the full bracelet. The two-tone that I saw, it was black and gold only to the bezel and face. It wasn't to the full bracelet. I think that's wrong. I think they should do two-tone throughout. But overall, it is a really nice watch. For 300 quid, I think it's worth it. If you're a man with very, very small wrists, or for women, I think it is beautiful on women, definitely. It's classy, it's hard wearing, it's not just got an aluminium bezel, they put a nice material in there, and it looks very, very appropriate and very stunning. It's a great all-round watch that you can wear for business settings, for holiday, or an everyday beater, or at the weekend. It's versatile in that manner. Super, super light. So yeah, I thought I'd just check this one. I thought I'd just show you this watch, what you can get. It does remind me of the Bulovas and Victorinox, which I suppose are kind of competitors to Tissot at these price points. Although this is a little bit cheaper actually. So yeah, overall, it's a good one. Just give us a bigger watch, please. Right, it's been Dave. Thanks for checking my channel out. Bye.